The following program, NORML Show Live, is intended for responsible adults only. We advocate for the repeal of marijuana prohibition for adults. We discuss the science, culture, and controversy about America's marijuana laws. We do not advocate or encourage any illegal activity and advise all listeners to learn their state and federal marijuana laws by visiting norml.org, NORML.org. Opinions and claims made by guests and advertisers of NORML Show Live are their own and do not necessarily reflect the philosophy and policies of NORML. Listener discretion is advised.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it, and it goes down smooth. Hey!
Spanning the continent to bring you the truth about cannabis and marijuana law reform.
I smoke pot and I like it a lot.
From the promise of legalization.
And I think we need to make it criminalize our marijuana laws.
To the agony of prohibition.
One major responsibility is to encourage people to use less drugs.
The National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws presents NORML Show Live, Marijuana Nation. Now, here's your host, NORML's Outreach Coordinator, Radical Russ Belville.
Good afternoon, tokers and tokettes. It is Monday, May 9th, 2011, and it's got to be 420 somewhere in the world. And folks, I have had it up to here with prohibition. We are back from Austin, Texas. As you can tell, we got a little sun. They have this thing called the sun out there in Texas. We don't have it so much here in Portland. Caught me a little by surprise, as you can tell. But we got plenty of stuff for you on today's show. We start off by welcoming back the lovely and talented Mr. February 2008. Gone to John.
2008?
I think so.
More like 2000 and great.
That's right. How you doing, John?
I'm doing good. How was Texas, man?
Texas was great, and for today's show, we're going to be chock full of Texas today. Oh my God, we got on our Roots Monday. We got Canna Bob bringing us a video, Acapulco Gold, great music for our Roots Monday, but also new music. We're going to go quadruple shot of music here. Acapulco Gold. Then we're going to get two new tunes from Chief Greenbud's forthcoming album, Volume 3. Chief was out there in Austin, so we're going to do Smoke As Much As You Like, and a song some of you may have heard at last NORML conference here in Portland, The Drug Bust. And then video from Greta Gaines. She's got a new pot song out that I recorded live there in Austin. It's not the greatest recording quality, so we're saving it for last, but stay tuned and enjoy that. And then we'll just do some show and tell from Austin. I got a bunch of pictures and a bunch of stuff to talk about. Unfortunately, today we would be going to Cannabis Carry, but we can't today because Astoria is down.
Yes,
not
city.
Carrie's house. The whole city of Astoria is down. So unfortunately, we don't get any Cannabis Carry today. So I'm so sorry about that. That's a bummer.
It's a real bummer.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah,
I don't understand how a whole city goes down.
I know. Well, I'm blaming it on squirrels.
I'm blaming it on Goonies.
Goonies! That's what it is. Goonies. Don't make me do the truffle shuffle. It's not pretty. All right, folks. And so I'll be bringing you the news today. We got all sorts of news to cover. The Global Marijuana March took place all over the world. We'll get you some photos from Toronto, Canada. We've got a story out of Louisiana, man getting life in prison for pot. Montana's fighting the repeal light bill. Colorado's DUID bill is back. Michigan's got a dispensary trial going on, and Illinois fails on medical.
You're listening to NORML Show Live, the voice of the marijuana nation.
And we'll be back right after this.
In today's busy world, we're inundated by advertising for all types of pharmaceuticals that come with a laundry list of potential side effects. Shouldn't you have better medical choices? Natural alternatives to pills pushed by Big Pharma? At Alternative Medical Choices, you could choose natural, safe, and effective alternative therapies that are right for your budget without nasty side effects. Cannabis, or marijuana, has been a legal medicine in the Pacific Northwest since 1998. Our doctors will help determine your qualifications for a medical marijuana recommendation in Oregon, no matter where you live. Our massage therapists will ease your aches and stress with soothing hemp seed oil or cannabis-infused massage salves. We also offer acupuncture, Reiki, and other alternative health therapies. Call Alternative Medical Choices in Portland, Oregon at 503-288-5579 or visit our website at www.altmedchoices.com. We specialize in out-of-state recommendations. That's www.altmedchoices.com or call 503-288-5579.
The fact is today, people don't go to jail for possession of marijuana. I know you like to pretend it does, and there's a lot of misinformation about that, but finding somebody in jail or prison for a first-time nonviolent offender for possession of marijuana is like finding a unicorn. You find one, you will make a big story because it doesn't exist. Finding somebody in jail or prison for a first-time nonviolent offender for possession of marijuana is like finding a unicorn, finding a unicorn, finding a unicorn.
NORML Show Live, the National Wildlife Refuge for Marijuana Unicorns.
I'm gonna light me a pipe of inspiration. I'm gonna blow away troubles on my head. I'm gonna leave this plastic place to your plastic people race and travel to a better place and travel to a better place and travel to a better place instead.
Medical marijuana, industrial hemp, consumer cannabis. It's time for this week's NORML News with Cannabis Carey.
Cannabis Carey is in blacked out Astoria, Oregon, so I'll bring you the news today. We've got photos and information from the 2011 Freedom Festival in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and of course this comes from blogto.com. Queen's Park was engulfed in a haze of thick smoke on Saturday as weed lovers and pot defenders, not mutually exclusive categories, turned out for the 2011 edition of the Freedom Festival and Global Marijuana March. Some estimates had attendance figures as high as 25,000. Yes, pun intended. For what was likely the last year the event will take place under the shadow of the provincial legislature. Due mostly to the size of the event and its impact on the park, the city has indicated the festival will need to find a new home next year. That's an interesting little coincidence, as it was an Ontario court ruling that was the talk of the day. Matt Murnaugh, who helped organize the event, recently won the right to be able to grow marijuana in Ontario after a superior court found the federal medical marijuana program unconstitutional for the degree to which it prevents patients from legal access to the drug. Quote, "We demonstrated that the medical marijuana program doesn't work in Canada. Less than 1% of doctors are signing for medicinal marijuana applications, so the judge exempted me from cultivating marijuana because I can't get into the program," end quote, Murnaugh told the crowd. Although Ottawa has appealed the decision, the ruling could mean that growing and possessing marijuana will no longer be a crime as of July 11th, 2011. And as we look at these photos here coming from Toronto, I'm just marveling at the size of the crowd there. 25,000 people in the streets. Americans, Canada's kicking our butt here. I've been looking through the pictures all over the country here, and I haven't seen anything like this in the United States of America. We've got to get some feet out there on the streets and turn out for these marches. It's time that the people out there know, and they see in their newspapers and they see in their evening news, that there are people, lots of people, that support the end of marijuana prohibition. As I was flying around back and forth to Austin, Texas, this terrible story made the rounds. It's been blazing up Twitter, and this is the story of Cornell Hood II, a Slidell, Louisiana man who got off on probation after 3 marijuana convictions in New Orleans. This comes from the NOLA.com. The story, of course, is on his 4th conviction. He was sentenced under a repeat offender law. A jury found him guilty of attempting to possess and distribute marijuana at his Slidell home. This man, Cornell Hood II, is 35 years old. He moved from eastern New Orleans to the Slidell area. I'm probably mispronouncing that, excuse me. After he admitted to separate charges of distribution of marijuana and possession with intent to distribute marijuana on December 18th, 2009, in the Orleans Parish Criminal District Court. He received a suspended 5-year prison sentence and 5 years probation for each, which was precisely the same penalty he got in that court after pleading guilty to possessing and intending to distribute marijuana on February 22nd, 2005. So in 2005, he got a 5-year sentence, 5-year probation, suspended, right? Didn't do any time. Then in 2009, he gets 2 charges. Each gets 5 years suspended with probation. So we are talking about a guy who'd been caught, 3 times, given 5 years each time, and then not given any of that actual time. But he switched homes. He moved and requested a new probation officer based in St. Tammany Parish. The authorities granted him his wish, and the officer, Dustin Munlin, drove to Hood's place for a routine visit on September 27, 2010. Munlin found nearly 2 pounds of pot throughout the house, according to court records. He alerted sheriff's office deputies. They arrested Hood, who apparently shared the Kings Point's house with his mother and young son. Prosecutors later charged him with 1 count of possession with intent to distribute. At his one-day trial, the evidence for the prosecution showed a digital scale, a dozen bags that had marijuana residue, and $1,600 in cash. Jurors deliberated for less than 2 hours, and the judge gave him life in prison for being convicted of 3 or more times of a crime that carries a sentence exceeding 10 years. So the 4th time was not the charm. He is doing life here, 35 years old. Life, and he was sharing the home with his son and the son's mother, and now he'll not see them ever again. He'll be in life in prison. And I don't know anybody here that thinks that's a reasonable sentence for what's going on. Nobody should be locked up in a cage for marijuana, period. It's just a shame we have to keep reporting on these things. Ganja John?
Also in that drawer that they found the $1,600 was a student loan application.
Yeah.
Guy was trying to maybe turn his life around and didn't know any other way to make money. But it's a terrible story.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
And we urge everyone to check that out. It's up on NOLA.com, and we'll have it up on our blog at stash.normal.org soon enough. Just look up Cornell Hood II, 4th marijuana conviction, gets Slidell man life in prison. Associated Press reporting from Forbes.com in Helena, Montana, medical marijuana supporters are planning to collect signatures for a voter initiative that would block the strict regulations that Montana Governor Brian Schweitzer says he will allow to become law this summer. Meanwhile, advocates for outlawing medical pot altogether say they won't push for their own referendum after the legislature passed a repeal of the state law, only to see it vetoed by Schweitzer. After that veto, the legislature passed a bill that aims to rein in Montana's booming pot industry and avoid federal intervention. It would significantly limit who can access the drug by doing away with pot businesses, implementing strict growing rules, and setting new standards for the patients and doctors who certify them. Well, this is the latest attempt, and of course, Montana NORML is on the tip of this. Check out montananormal.org. But the idea is, use the power of the initiative to protect the power of the initiative. That they are doing any changes to the Montana medical marijuana law without input from the people is wrong. The people passed this law with more votes, like 62% than the president gets elected by in these elections, than the governor himself was elected by. The people clearly want medical marijuana in the state of Montana, and the people should be consulted when it comes to coming up with the new laws about this. Good luck on the initiative efforts, and to get involved, check out our friends at montananormal.org. And from Colorado, the marijuana DUID bill we had reported on rises from the ashes and is expected to pass. This is reported from the Colorado Independent. On Friday, a bill to make it easier to charge stone drivers with DUI rose from the dead and is now expected to pass by Wednesday. The previously gutted bill to charge drivers with DUI per se if operating motor vehicles while under the influence of 5 nanograms per milliliter of Delta-9 THC in their bloodstream had those provisions restored. The Senate Appropriations Committee, which normally looks at the fiscal appropriations for bills, chose on Friday to strike an amendment made in the Senate Judiciary Committee, which took out the DUI per se provisions based on what some on the committee saw as an arbitrary level of THC. While the Judiciary Committee had replaced the DUI per se language with provisions to do a study into looking into driving impairment in THC, the Appropriations Committee found that 5 nanograms per milliliter was high enough to assume impairment when driving a car. This is a very, very slippery slope that they're climbing on here. 5 nanograms per milliliter. While we do have studies that show that you have recently consumed, if you've got 5 nanograms in your system, we can show that there is a demonstrable impairment after 5 nanograms. It doesn't hold true for everyone in every case. When you do these studies, you're looking at sample sizes and statistics that can tell you what the vast majority of people will be subject to, kind of that bell curve. But there'll always be some people on the edges there who may be medical marijuana patients that are consuming all the time, whose THC levels may be higher than 5 nanograms, yet they're perfectly capable of doing their day-to-day activities. You do build up a tolerance to this stuff, and when you're using it medically, sometimes it actually makes you a better driver. There's some of those folks, and I'm speaking medically, that have problems with seizures or spasticity, and they're able to control that with medical cannabis. They'd obviously be better behind the wheel with the use of their medicine. And besides, a bottle of Marinol comes with a little warning on the bottom of it. And Marinol, being the synthetic THC, has a little warning on it that says, until you know how you may be affected by Marinol, do not drive or operate heavy machinery. And I agree that should be the standard for marijuana, until you know how you may be affected. Let's judge impairment by, whether or not people are actually impaired. Touch the finger to the nose. Can they walk the straight line? Do a visible impairment test on people. I'm all for that. But trying to come up with some magic bullet bright line number that's going to say body chemistry determines impairment just can't be done. And for consistency's sake, I'll let you know, I feel the same way about alcohol levels in the blood, in breathalyzers as well, too. I've known plenty of alcoholics who can drive on a 0.2 and be as unimpaired as anyone out there. It's just, you cannot link body chemistry, solely body chemistry, to one's impairment, and the law should recognize that. This next story comes out of Ferndale, Michigan. Marijuana heads to trial from the Daily Tribune. 8 of 9 people with ties to a medical marijuana clinic raided by undercover police last August learned Friday they will stand trial on drug and conspiracy charges. The defendants owned or worked at Clinical Relief on Hilton Road. They waited 6 months for attorneys to file written arguments and rebuttals so 43rd District Judge Joseph Longo could make a ruling. Longo found there was probable cause that 8 defendants broke laws when marijuana was sold to undercover police at the clinic. The police had phony patient cards indicating they were certified to use medical marijuana, and at least one officer also showed a driver's license made by the state with his alias. However, Longo said the case before him had nothing to do with the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act. Quote, "It may become one, but it hasn't developed into one yet," Longo said. "Those answers will come someplace else, but not here," end quote. The defendants from Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne counties were charged with conspiracy and manufacturing, delivering controlled substances following the raid by police on the Oakland County Narcotics Enforcement Team. Well, that's another one of these cases here. First of all, whenever they throw conspiracy into a case, they do that so they can admit hearsay into evidence. Conspiracy is all about hearsay. These things were brought back by Bobby Kennedy in the 60s to go against the Hoffas and those types corrupt organizations, but they're being used now in the Drug Act. Listen to Robert Platshorn talk about this and you'll get a real education. But the other thing I wanted to point out is here, these were people working, let me get this right, they're working at dispensaries, and people came in with patient cards that, as far as the people working at the dispensaries knew, were valid. And one guy comes up with a driver's license made by the state that has his phony name on it. So sure, he's going to think it's valid. So you're telling me these people that distributed marijuana according to the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act and checked people's IDs to make sure they were valid patients somehow committed a crime? I don't think that's what 63% of the people of Michigan were voting for. All right, more news. Our last story here comes out of the state of Illinois. Medical marijuana and concealed carry legislation were stalled by failed votes in the Illinois House this week, while a bill that would allow children of undocumented immigrants to participate in college savings programs and set up private scholarship pools for those students made its way successfully through the state Senate. This is on medical marijuana from the Beacon News, a Chicago Sun-Times paper. The Compassionate Use of Medical Cannabis Act, House Bill 30, failed to pass the House last week, 53-61, with 4 voting present. The bill would have established a 3-year pilot program to allow people with debilitating medical conditions, including cancer, AIDS, multiple sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, and severe fibromyalgia, to purchase up to 2.5 ounces of marijuana from registered nonprofit dispensaries every 2 weeks. Let's see. After the failed vote, the bill's sponsor, Representative Lou Lang, Democrat from Skokie, postponed consideration of the bill, which means it could be brought back to the floor for another vote in the future. During discussion on the bill, Lang repeatedly pointed to the House gallery where disabled Army veteran Jim Champion of Somonauk, who has multiple sclerosis and uses marijuana to treat his symptoms, was seated. The quote, "The question is, are we going to make Jim Champion a criminal?" End quote, Lang said. After the vote, Champion expressed disappointment and disbelief at the outcome of Thursday's vote, but continued to defend pot as the only thing that makes his life as an MS patient bearable. Quote, "At night when I sleep, my knees grind together and I almost end up turning into a ball. I wake up in the morning and take my pills and they do nothing," Champion said. "I take 3 puffs off a cannabis cigarette and I'm able to separate my legs. I am basically able to get ready in the morning," end quote. How unfortunate that we would have this bill go down 53 to 61 and have 4 people vote present. We didn't have the courage to say yes or no. Just say, oh, well, I'm not going to decide on this. That's 8 votes here. 4 votes. You put 4 votes in that other column. It's 57 to 61. And now you only need to convince, 2 more legislators to flip to be able to get that passed. It's amazing when you're doing this. You know that there's 75 to 80% support all across America for medical marijuana, and yet it can be held up by 1 governor or 2 senators or 3 representatives. That's why it's so important that you vote and so important that you call these people. Send me an email at stash@normal.org and I'll help you get started.
What do you think about mumbles?
The mumbles, I don't think we need a break at all.
Never mind.
Hey, when we come back, we've got some tunes for you. Lots of them. Stay tuned.
It's 20 after the hour, and we have to take a short break, if you know what I mean. Please support these sponsors who support Normal Show Live.
Oh, have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. Have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. If he said he swam to China, he would sell you South Carolina. Then you know you're talking to that reefer man.
Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after a word from these 420 friendly sponsors. Wait a minute. This is internet radio. There are no dials here.
As High Times Senior Cultivation Editor, I'm often called into the field and asked to sample or even identify exotic strains of marijuana in their natural habitat. Now, for the first time, I've compiled more than 120 of my favorite strains into this single field guide designed to fit into your pocket as you travel the world in search of your favorite plant. From a friend's closet grow room to the wilds of Northern California, this single guide covers all of today's best-known strains, plus heirlooms and throwbacks, including High Times quality photos and information on each variety's genetic heritage and growing characteristics, plus my personal notes on aroma, flavor, and potency. So this is Danny Danko, author of the official High Times Field Guide to Marijuana Strains, wishing you good times and great ganja.
The official High Times Field Guide to Marijuana Strains is available at hightimes.com and finer bookstores.
It's time for your daily Toker Tunes, the best in 420 friendly music from all genres that uplifts, entertains, and informs the public. Today we bring you tunes for Roots Monday, our celebration of the music that evolved into the popular modern music of today. We pick the best of blues, country, folk, and jazz with a 420 feel and serve it up for you every Monday. Brought to you by Cannabis Carry in Astoria, Oregon, and CannabisFantastic.com. If you'd like to submit your song to be played on Normal Show Live, send it to us at stash@normal.org. Now here's some more great independent marijuana music for today's Daily Toker Tunes.
You know I smoke a lot of grass. Oh Lord, I popped a lot of pills.
Don't bogart that joint, my friend. Pass it over to me.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Roots Monday Toker Tune. I'm Canna Bob, and I'm also your host for the Viper Hour here on the NORML Network, with a new show every Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, where we play some of that great old jazz, marijuana, reefer music from the 1920s and 30s. So stop in and give us a listen. I think you'll like it. And as you may have figured out from those opening clips, today's Roots Monday Toker tune comes to you from the Woodstock era of marijuana music history, the late 1960s and early 70s, which is near and dear to my heart, as I first met the marijuana weed in 1968 and graduated high school in 1972. And by the time I married my beautiful wife in 1977, we went on our honeymoon to Acapulco to get some of that Acapulco Gold.
No stems, no seeds that you don't need. Acapulco Gold is
badass weed. And that's the name of today's Roots Monday Toker tune, Acapulco Gold by Rainy Days, spelled D-A-Z-E. This tune is from a 1973 marijuana documentary entitled Acapulco Gold. It is a humorous, if nothing else, look at the marijuana culture of the late 60s and early 70s. And as usual, the Roots Monday Toker tune has video to accompany it today. The actual song is accompanied by an animated cartoon, which appears in the movie. And before that, we have a short clip of the movie, just to give you an idea of what buying a large amount of marijuana was like in 1972 and 1973. So warm up that Volkswagen bus and let your freak flag fly. This is Acapulco Gold by Rainy Days.
Here it is. Wow. A lot of weed, man. Yeah, there's 750 bricks there. Jesus. Had 1,000 yesterday, so we're selling them fairly quickly.
This is really pretty clean weed. Did you smoke any of it?
Yeah, this is the average weed. Commercial weed.
It's really too bad, you know, because it's really clean. Sure would be nice if it was super weed. How much a kilo did he want?
Well, $50.
How much did they weigh?
Pound and 3/4.
Yeah, that's a neat looking brick. Pound and 3/4 or...
Yeah, they're all over a pound and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like, so, it's, you said $45 or $50?
$50. Yeah, and you'd probably have to buy it, you know, 100 or 200 of them.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't like the small amounts.
I think that I want to go to Acapulco, man, because in Acapulco I get 2.2 pounds and it'd be $30 a kilo and it'd be super weed.
Well, if you want to go there, that's fine with me, you know. I'll come and run it for you.
This is cool, you know, for Tijuana, but I think I'd like to go get the best.
Sure.
So why don't you thank Romero and tell him, you know, maybe some other time.
He's just outside. We can talk to him. He didn't want to come in here. He's uptight.
Let's split.
Okay.
Me and Martha took our honeymoon below the border neath the silvery moon. She was 18 and I was 22. Now we're just doing what the young folks do. We're going south to get that Acapulco Gold. Ain't nothing it can't fix. Old dogs can learn new tricks when the streets are lined with bricks of Acapulco Gold. Southland held the keys. To cure these cotton-picking circles and sneeze, we're going south to get that Acapulco Gold. Ain't nothing it can't fix. Old dogs can learn new tricks when the streets are lined with bricks of Acapulco Gold. Zigzag bottom one, little one two. Hey, little 23 skidoo. Me and Martha sure had fun. Acapulco Gold for everyone. We're going so far to get that Acapulco Gold. Ain't nothing it can't fix. Old dogs can learn little tricks. When the streets are lined with bricks, Acapulco Gold. It's the name of the matchbox, 5 cents.
Yeah, a little rainy days there with Acapulco Gold. Thank you so much to Canna Bob for bringing that to us. And of course, we are doing a quadruple shot here of music on our Daily Toker Tunes because I just came back from Austin, Texas, the live music capital of the world, they tell me. And it surely was. Out there on 6th Street, hearing all sorts of great musicians. And our good friend Chief Greenbud drove down from Nashville to be able to perform and speak at the rally. And here he is. Let's bring the... Just lost my little graphic there. We'll bring the Chief here on the screen. Here we go. Chief Greenbud was there, drove all the way from Nashville, and unfortunately, because of the flooding on the Mississippi, on his way driving down, on I-40, he originally had a 30-mile detour, and then the detour got flooded out, and then the detour to the detour got flooded out, and he ended up having a 137-mile detour to make it all the way down there to Austin, Texas. But he was there at the state capitol, right there on the steps. There's the camera shot of him, and we're going to play a couple songs that he provided on a sampler, and were available there for free for everyone. So this first one is called Smoke As Much As You Like, and the second one you may have heard at NORML Conference called The Drug Bust. These are coming out on the forthcoming Chief Greenbud 3. Here we go. Smoke As Much As You Like.
It's so sticky, smells so nice. I can keep it blazing all night, and baby, you can smoke as much as you like. I said you can smoke as much as you like. Pass that bowl, hit that pipe. We'll be high as a kite, and baby, you can smoke as much as you like. I said you can smoke as much as you like. You're a little cutie, I hope you wanna use me. Let's smoke a little bud, then we can see a movie. Say what you really wanna hear. Got more weed than Budweiser's got beer. Well, if you smoke this fatty, you won't feel your body. Gonna get so high, gonna need your mommy. I'll roll it, you lick it, I'll light it, you hit it. You know you ain't ever gotta buy it. It's so sticky, smells so nice. I can keep it blazing all night, and baby, you can smoke as much as you like. I said you can smoke as much as you like. Pass that bowl, hit that pipe. We'll be high as a kite, and baby, you can smoke as much as you like. I said you can smoke as much as you like. But when you wanna smoke out, I can be your Boy Scout. I'm always prepared, cause weed is what I'm all about. I don't wanna see you pout, there won't be a need for doubt. As long as I'm around, you know you'll never ever be without. As long as you got me, you don't ever gotta buy it. Got some of God's own if you think you wanna try it. 6 gram blunts, I only roll the dankest shit. Girl, don't act so shy, you can wrap your lips around this and smoke this fatty. You won't feel your body, gonna get so high, gonna need your mommy. I'll roll it, you lick it, I'll light it, you hit it. You know you ain't ever gotta buy it. It's so sticky, smells so nice. I can keep it blazing all night, and baby, you can smoke as much as you like. I said you can smoke as much as you like. Pass that bowl, hit that pipe. We'll be high as a kite, and baby, you can smoke as much as you like. I said you can smoke as much as you like. ass fatty, you won't feel your body. Gonna get so high, gonna need your mommy. I'll roll it, you lick it, I'll light it, you hit it. You know you ain't ever gotta buy it. It's so sticky, smells so nice. I can keep it blazing all night, and baby, you can smoke as much as you like. I said you can smoke as much as you like. Pass that bowl, hit that pipe. We'll be high as a kite, baby, you can smoke as much as you like. I said you can smoke as much as you like. Well, I was sitting in my living room, sparking up a bowl. You won't believe what happened next. Well, the cops kicked down my door with their guns waving in the air. I thought I'd best say a little prayer, and I knew something just wasn't right when he pulled me from my chair. He said it was a drug bust. I had the feeling it was unjust. I said, I think you got the wrong fella, guys. I only smoke the stuff. He threw me down on the ground, so I asked him for a reach around. I may as well get jerked off, 'cause it looks like I'm getting fucked. Well, he took my little bag of weed and the 20 bucks I had. I said, if I was dealing reefer, man, don't you think there'd be more stash? Well, he told me to shut my mouth. He was gonna look around. Then he said, look who wears the badge, boy. Look who's going downtown. He said it was a drug bust. I had the feeling it was unjust. I said, I think you got the wrong fella, guys. I only smoke the stuff. He threw me down on the ground, so I asked him for a reach around. I may as well get jerked off, 'cause it looks like I'm getting fucked. Well, officer, explain to me, I don't know why this has to be. Now you're talking felony. I can't believe that you can't see there's only one thing guaranteed. There's no crime in smoking weed. He said the law would disagree, and then he put the cuffs on me. He said it was a drug bust. I had the feeling it was unjust. I said, I think you got the wrong fella, guys. I only smoke the stuff. He threw me down on the ground, so I asked him for a reach around. I may as well get jerked off, 'cause it looks like I'm getting
This is
fucked.
NORML Show Live.
Yeah, I may as well get jerked off, 'cause I'm damn sure getting fucked.
Oh, yeah, new music from Chief Greenbud, The Drug Bust, and before that you heard the T.I. parody, Smoke As Much As You Like, and I'm so out of touch, I had no idea. I didn't know it was a parody. Really? Oh,
Really?
That's interesting. One last one here for you. This is recorded now. I gotta, preface this by saying recorded off my BlackBerry in a dark club, so the sound and the video, not the greatest, but it is a good song, and it just gives you a little bit of what I got to enjoy in Austin, aside from the sun. Love that sun. Thanks, Texas. So this is Greta Gaines at a club. The club was called Momo's. So I can now say that I played in Austin. I have played in Austin. I played that T.I. song with Chief Greenbud on stage. We did that song. So and I was interested listening to his bass line. I pretty much played that bass line. I had not heard it, but I pretty much played that. So that was pretty cool. So let's get to the video here. You go back to that flash window and see if this will fit. All right, here we go. Greta Gaines live at Momo's.
There's a fire in the hollow somewhere out in western Tennessee. It's where I wanna be. There's a plot and a harvest half a mile from downtown Kankakee. I wish you could see sweet September, wide-eyed and splendid. These green leaves help me remember what it means to be free. So let it grow, earth and sky, roll it up, let's get so high, and strike a next to a green and gold mine. She was sweet as cherry wine. There's a grandma in the basement learning how to grow hydroponically. She says it's growing like a weed, and sweet, so tender, wide-eyed display. These green leaves help me remember what it means to be free. So let it grow, earth and sky. Roll it up, it gets so high. Strike a match, raise your cup. Don't tell us you can't light it up. You can't be lighted up.
You want a copy of that song for your iPod? Check out the Daily Toker Tunes at the Stash blog by surfing to stash.normal.org and choosing Media and then Toker Tunes from the main menu.
Starfish Designs, makers of the original Gandalf.
I'm Radical Russ, and when I want to relax, I always have my 17-inch long original Gandalf from Starfish Designs nearby. The hand-blown borosilicate glass is strong and easy to clean, and the design is sleek and sophisticated. Starfish Designs are available from Bend, Oregon at a glass retailer near you. For locations, call 541-788-GLASS. That's 541-788-4527.
Are you or is someone you know a marijuana smoker? Have you or is someone in your family been arrested for a marijuana violation? You need to know the truth about pot. NORML, the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, is the most comprehensive source of information regarding marijuana and its effects on health, as well as legal issues. NORML even offers a database of lawyers specializing in cannabis in your area. NORML, the nation's largest and most successful marijuana law reform organization, has spent decades gathering the knowledge and science on everything related to cannabis. NORML is the best resource to find out the truth about marijuana, connect with a lawyer in your area, or help find an end to prohibition. Information is available at NORML.org, that's NORML.org, or toll free at 888-67-NORML.
Hello, this is Webb Hubble. Life insurance is now available for responsible marijuana smokers. For years, responsible marijuana smokers have not been able to access affordable life insurance products. NORML uniquely supports cannabis consumers. 2 carriers have already agreed to offer all of their traditional life insurance products at all levels without excluding individuals who smoke marijuana responsibly. Help NORML and help yourself. If you've been declined for life insurance, are paying above market premiums, or simply want to know what now may be available in the way of insurance for marijuana smokers, contact me at info@mclaughlinonline.com or simply call me at 202-293-5566.
You want answers? I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. You want answers?
You have offended my family.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth.
And you have offended the Shaolin Temple.
You can't handle the truth.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley. Radical Rant.
Yeah, I didn't put up the Radical Rant graphic because it's not really a rant today. It's show and tell time, but we don't have a show and tell intro.
It's just radical.
It's just radical, man. We don't have a show and tell intro, so what the hell? And I love doing that Don't Call Me Shirley thing. But, yeah, I got back from Austin, Texas. Had a great time. I want to thank Josh Schimberg and the folks at Texas NORML for putting on a great march and rally and fundraiser. And we've got pictures and video and all sorts of great stuff to show you. So let's just get right to it. I'll switch over to the cameras. Here we go. No, I couldn't resist. They've been asking for it for a while, though. Some of you out there, you know who you are, have been deserving this. I'm going to give you 5 seconds here. All right, that's enough of that.
That's more than enough of that.
We'll just freeze it right there on Rick. Right there on Rick Astley. You've been Rick rolled because you've out there been calling me Radical Rick, and now the Rabid Russ thing from the NORML conference. So I had to get that off my chest. All right. Now we can go to the show and tell time, the real stuff here from the NORML National Conference. I'll switch over video here, give you kind of a slideshow, get this organized, get everything in position here. First of all, we have Cheyenne Weldon from Texas NORML, and she was my handler. I apparently now have a handler, which now not that kind of handler, John.
If anybody's going to be my handler, I would want it to be Cheyenne.
There you go.
Couldn't help it.
Okay, there it is. All right. It's on the table. But anyway, Cheyenne was there. And of course, what was kind of fun about that is that she showed up to pick me up at the airport in her Miata, little convertible Miata. And I got my bass with me, my 6-string bass. It wouldn't fit in anything. We had to put the top down and I had to hold the handle of it while it was behind the seats, but like just sitting on it, right?
Yeah.
So had we taken a sharp corner, it'd been gone. It'd be gone.
Yeah.
So Cheyenne was great. And we ended up at in the hotel parking garage as we got ready to leave that first night. And we were crammed in against her. She was parked the little Miata up against a wall in the parking garage and then up against this white car that was so close. There was no way I was going to be able to get in. And so she said, well, hold on, I'll back out and you can get in. And the guy next to us in the car says, well, I know it looks pretty close, but I didn't dent your car or anything. And I looked up and it was Governor Gary Johnson from New Mexico just sitting there. And he's in the car next to us. What are the chances we're going to be parked next to Governor Gary Johnson, right? So I turned around. Of course, I got my hat on. I've got my glasses on. I turned around and I said, Governor, quit stalking me. And he looked at me like, what? Or no, actually, he asked, are you a part of the marijuana rally? Right? Because I got the hot hat. And I said, Governor, quit stalking me. And then I took my glasses off and he recognized who I was. Yeah. We've done like 3 or 4 gigs together now. Right. It's like, Governor Johnson is stalking me. Everywhere I go, this guy keeps showing up. So, no, that's so cool. That's so cool. And I told him, I said, Governor Johnson, I heard about the South Carolina debate. I didn't get to see it, but I got to tell you, with you and Representative Paul up there, both advocating for marijuana legalization in a GOP presidential debate, I just booked my ski tickets to hell because I never thought I would ever hear that. And so he thought that was, he had a great speech again at the steps. Now, this is that evening. We did a barbecue over at Josh Schimberg's place, and he and his wife put on this. I mean, it was Texas, right? T-bone steaks.
Yes.
Salad with Caesar dressing and like fried up spuds with a dill kind of sauce. Yeah. It was a Texas dinner. My God, it was great. And both me and Chief, there's Chief right there, enjoying a joint. We're saying, like when you get out on the road, that's the greatest thing in the world to have a home cooked meal instead of going to
so great.
Jack in the Box or Arby's or whatever. So, so that was that night. So thank you so much for that. This little thing here is something that I'm going to see if I can get a sponsorship for this. This is a NO2 portable hand vaporizer. I think gotvape.com has them. Yeah. And you can see that in my hand there. It's about the size of like a flashlight, right? It's digital. And it's got that little tube with a little nipple up there. It reminded me of playing bassoon, actually, when I was using it. But it hit great. It seemed to last all night. I'm like, get me some of that. So
give me one of those.
We're working on that. Big ups to the Got Vape people on that. So here we have Austin, Texas's 6th Street, and they call it the live music capital of the world. No kidding. They closed the entire street, and people are just walking down the middle of the street, walking down the sidewalks. It's packed. There's clubs on either side of you. There's every kind of music you could possibly want to hear. It was just amazing. Now, the next day, as I walked down, my hotel was down Congress Avenue from the Capitol. I had to walk about 11 blocks up to the Capitol, and 2nd Street, my house, mine was on Cesar Chavez, which is basically 1st Street. So the next block up, Willie Nelson Boulevard. You gotta love that. Gotta love any town that's got a Willie Nelson Boulevard. This is that same 6th Street, but the next day they do like a day carnival. Well, like here in Portland, we have the Portland Saturday Market, right? Vendors set up tents and they got little jump things for the kids and all that. It was fantastic. And this thing went 10, 12 blocks and it teed. It actually had tees. You had to go another 2 blocks to see concert stages. It was just amazing. And what an amazing venue. And of course, this is why I have the striped sunburn because I was out in this all day walking around. Saw this dog, they say everything's bigger in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. Big old Great Dane, the lady walking the Great Dane. And it's got these black spots, black and white spots. And I said, oh, well, is that dog, possibly part Dalmatian? She goes, this is an AKC winning and purebred Great Dane. All right, y'all. Have a good day. So, and then there was another huge ass dog walking down the street. So everything's bigger in Texas, right? And then nothing exempt. Oh, before we get to the biggest thing in Texas, this is the alligator on a stick. That's alligator on a stick. Alligator meat fried up on a stick. And they say it tastes like chicken. And it does kind of taste like chicken if chicken were a Cretaceous era reptile.
That looks like cat meat to me. Look at that.
It does a little.
Bit like cat
now,
meat.
I picked that up, and at the same time I picked that up, the Austin Blues Society was there. Of course, they got a Blues Society. And they had their magazine out, the 9th Annual Blues Festival Guide. This is every blues festival in the country, and it's ordered chronologically. So you open it up on May 1st, and as you flip through the pages, you can find every blues festival in the country. Portland Blues Festival being around the 4th of July weekend and all. But who should be on the cover but my homeboy, John Nemeth. John Nemeth came up through the Boise blues scene. I was hosting a blues jam sessions at the Blues Bouquet downtown, and this kid would come in to play and play harp. Back then, he had a band called Fat John and the Three Slims. Was his first little band. Knocked out player, man, knocked out harp player, and since has become a fantastic blues singer. And he's now, like, in his career right now, he's on that launching pad. He's ready to, like, in the blues world, he's world famous.
Right.
But he's on that level now to be in the, like, blues man that even regular folks know who he is, right? That don't know a thing about the blues. He's, like, in that Grammy potential right now. And so, like, wow, my homeboy right here on the Austin, Blues Festival thing. That's so cool. So good news there for John Nemeth. More big Texas, the world's largest grill. That is a semi-sized grill. Cooking Johnsonville brats. They were cooking there. And then, my favorite sign in Austin, Texas. Restricted lane. Musician loading and unloading. 6:30 p.m. to 3 a.m. Permit required. Wow. We need that in every town in front of every club. I can't tell you how many times I've had to haul gear blocks and blocks because there's no place to unload. That's fantastic. That's a city that takes care. Now, here's somebody I don't think is probably not a normal fan. Just not a fan of lawyers in general. He's out in front of the Texas State Capitol in a pig costume. Now, mind you saw my sunburn. Mind you, it's 89, 90 degrees out.
Yeah,
he's in a pig costume, holding a pink sign that says lawyers are pigs, with a pig on a spit at the end of it, holding a chicken by a noose in front of a big kettle drum with a sign that says, some lawyers, actually in small letters, some lawyers are pigs, and another picture of a pig. Okay. He really believes that because, man, it was hot. It was no time to be out there in a pig costume. Now we got Chief Greenbud up there on the Texas State Capitol. The rally, the march ended up at the Capitol, and then, of course, Chief Greenbud was there to play, and that's what Governor Johnson spoke. There's the little the podium they've got there, Texas Marijuana March. Here are some of the people. I'd say the crowd was probably maybe 300 people, maybe 400. It was hard to tell, but great signs. You can see even the size there. It was a pretty hot day. This was my favorite sign, though. A young lady with a sign that says, with a bunch of pot leaves on it, and it says, wait, why am I here? I thought, okay, you win for honesty and creativity.
Yeah.
Let's see. Of course, the House Bill 548 was the bill, the Texas Medical Marijuana Act they're trying to get passed. Representative Gallego is the one who's apparently the roadblock there. His office number is 512-463-0566. Tell Representative Gallego to pass House Bill 548 now for the patients in Texas. I promised that lady that I would do that. So There we go. It has been said and recorded. So we're there gathered at the Texas State Capitol steps. There's Cliff Duvall and his pal, forgot his name, doggone it. I think it's Josh, but I could be wrong. From NORML of Waco, Inc. Can you smell the freedom? If not, you're not working hard enough. And unfortunately, I had to tell Cliff, it's your with an apostrophe R-E.
Oh, goodness.
Not your as in possessive. Doggone it. I hate it when, because, you go to the work of putting together a sign and you spend the money on it, you want to make sure it's spelled right. Anyway, we'll get that fixed. And then Greta Gaines spoke on the state capitol steps as well. Great impassioned speech. There's the shot you saw earlier of Chief Greenbud. We'll get to some of these signs. I love this sign from this young lady. Help me survive treatment. Legalize cannabis. probably undergoing cancer treatments, I'd imagine. Be reasonable, legalize pot. Okay, got that. Let's see, give us our medicine, good signs that we see at a lot of these rallies. It was legal to pay taxes with hemp, 1631 to early 1800s. A little nugget of knowledge there, thank you. And this other guy, hemp can produce 10 times more ethanol than corn. And in Texas, that's an issue, right? And the whole ethanol issue is a huge issue. So, and Governor Johnson spoke to that as well. He spoke to about the farmers and, being paid to grow corn and they don't want to, but they're paid to, they got to kind of thing, and how they could do so much better with hemp crop. Don't panic. It's organic. Stop arresting for marijuana. Tax Herb. Who is this Herb fella?
Who is this
I
Herb
feel
guy?
bad for Herb. There's a few people there with signs that, what's that? Oh, herb. Well, that's different entirely. All right. Medicine, marijuana is medicine and food and fuel and fiber. We get Chris Bailey also spoke. That's the other person I was forgetting. Chris Bailey is running for city council there. It's baileyforchange.com, BAILEY, baileyforchange.com. Chris Bailey for the Austin City Council, and he spoke as well. Medical marijuana saves lives, another sign out there. American deaths, the typical, we always see one of these at a march, alcohol, 95,000, cigarettes, 435,000, marijuana, 0, ever. 50,000 ways to make America better, legalize it. There's another big-ass Great Dane. All the dogs were big in Texas, I have to admit. It was bigger in Texas. And then a couple of young ladies who, in my defense, they asked to take the picture with me. They called me over to get the picture taken. I said, ladies, thank you. My wife loves these pictures.
My wife does
She's a
too.
big fan.
Yeah.
And then Governor Gary Johnson was there speaking, and there was one of the patients who was there to speak as well. Big support medical marijuana banner. And every one of these events I do with Gary Johnson, regardless what you think politically, I'm impressed of what a gentleman he is, and how he's so gracious with speaking to people, and even when when people in his face disagreeing with him, how he's slow and patient and listens to what people are saying. I always appreciate that. The Fox News cameras were there. That's a young lady from the Fox News, and I think there was another station there as well that were interviewing the governor there on the Capitol. A couple of Texas NORML supporters getting their picture taken with Governor Johnson. He was very, again, gracious with all his time. Anybody that wanted to get a picture taken, they got it taken. And there he is advocating for marijuana legalization and some other parts of his platform as well. He kind of spoke to Texans. He said a lot of things that Texans would want to hear. Things about Department of Education. I think his line on that was, they give us 11 cents of every dollar, but ask for 16 cents in unfunded mandates or something like that. It's very interesting. But anyway, that's Governor Johnson on the Texas steps. From the back, you can see the people listening. It's hard to tell because most of the crowd is back in the shade because it's, like I said, 90 degrees or something like that. And then the sign, this is the winner of the signs of all signs for the whole march. This young boy with a sign that says, "Please decriminalize my mom."
Wow.
That was really cool. So, great times in Austin. As we move into hour 2 here, we will do more with Toker Talk Radio. We'll take a look at more of these photographs, talk a little bit more about Austin, Texas. Plus, we have a special guest in the studio, Jen Alexander, the campaign manager of the OCTA, Oregon Cannabis Tax Act. She's here with us. We're going to talk about voting and people who think they can't vote and they can. That's you. If you've been convicted of a drug crime, you can probably vote. We'll learn more about that in hour 2. For those of you in hour 1, thanks for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with more news and interviews you can use for the cannabis community. And until next time, take care of each other, tokers.
This is NORML Show Live, the voice of the marijuana nation.
Take it on one more time. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it, and it goes down smooth.